Hello, everybody. I just want to introduce myself. My name is Chidi Akutu from Poseidon. I'm the COO at Poseidon. We're here to talk to you about the Poseidon platform and also from our strategic partners, Ecosphere Plus. Okay. So, will introduce the people on the panel today. We have Laszlo Giric, who is the CEO and founder of Poseidon, and also we have Jessica Verhagen, who is a VP of Business Development and Strategy at Ecosphere Plus. We'll kick off with a video.
We're trying to address effects of climate change. We're trying to address our creation of greenhouse gas emissions, but what we're not really addressing at the moment is to protect the environment, to give the world a fighting chance against climate change. You have parties that do something that create greenhouse gas emissions, and they then purchase carbon credits to offset the negative impact they're having, to balance out what they're doing to the environment. So let me bring it back to basics. Blockchain is a database. Blockchain is nothing other than a way to store, manage, and communicate data. What we've really done at Poseidon as a company engaging in climate action, and that's really what we are. We are a company that engages in climate action much more than a blockchain company. So what we've done is we've taken a real world problem, which is climate change. We looked at a way to addressing this problem, which is through forest conservation, and we found that using the blockchain technology allowed us to manage carbon credits that funnel the funding to these projects in a transparent and traceable way in an immutable data storage that creates confidence and trust in a market that currently has these challenges. What we can also do with blockchain is we can do microtransactions. We can process fractions of carbon credits, not tons, but now grams. We could now attach carbon markets to the retail sector. Because now, of course, we can transact grams, we can transact them immediately, and we can transact them for virtually no cost.
All right, so thank you. That was the video. So just to kick off with a few questions for the panel. So first one is, there seem to be a number of new initiatives in this space. So how does Poseidon differ, Laszlo?
What we really do at Poseidon, much more than being a blockchain venture, is we empower individuals, corporates, and governments to participate in climate action, in forest conservation through a retail integration, which really hasn't been done before. We're using the Stellar blockchain, which is also rather unusual in the blockchain space, which is the most environmental friendly blockchain platform at the moment. And we're very proud to have a world-class network of strategic partners that help us set up what we do. We are actually already live with our platform. We have fully developed it, and we're live in the retail sector. We've already protected over 20 million trees and a landmass that's about 24% larger than New York City. And with these forest conservation projects, we feel that we're addressing climate change really where it has the biggest impact with high quality forest conservation carbon credits that we're getting from Ecosphere Plus.
Okay, thank you. So Jessica, tell us a little bit more about the quality of these carbon credits.
Yeah, sure. Ecosphere supplies, does this work?
Yeah.
Okay. We supply carbon credits to the Poseidon platform. We've sourced the first carbon credits from our project Cordillera Azul, and we can source other projects from other companies as long as they meet the same environmental, social, and governance criteria. Being part of an impact fund, Ecosphere projects are accountable to the highest environmental, social, and governance standards. Every year, our parent company, Althelia, produces our impact report. You can grab one at our stand, just over there on the left, where we measure impacts across 7 different areas, really showing beyond the carbon, what's the biodiversity benefits, women empowerment, community engagement. Our projects are designed to support all 17 of the Sustainable Development Goals that the UN has put forth. And you can see more information specifically on how Cordillera Azul meets those 17 goals at our stand. And our projects also have to be independently validated and verified through the VERA standard. So we have a methodology that we have to ensure that we live up to. And it's not just us that makes that judgment. Of course, we have an independent validator and verifier for our projects. And finally, I would also just make the point that over the last 10 years, the accounting methodologies and the way that we monitor the forest has really evolved. I think many people can be stuck 10 years ago thinking of what was possible, but today we have satellite monitoring, we have a bunch of different new technologies that have come to the fore that make monitoring these vast areas of forest much easier. The project Cordillera, for example, is over an area nearly half the size of the Netherlands, and so to be able to effectively do that now has improved quite a great amount in the last 10 years.
Okay, thank you. How does the Poseidon platform channel the funds to these projects that Jessica's talking about?
And that's really where we differ from other projects. And I like to use the retail platform where we're live already. I mentioned earlier that our platform is developed and live, and I'm very proud of that. We're actually having a project with Ben & Jerry's. So we're live at the Ben & Jerry's store in London. And anybody who goes to Ben & Jerry's in London at the moment purchases scoops of ice cream that actually have a positive impact on the climate. So what happened specifically in that setup, Ben & Jerry's has agreed to contribute 1 penny with each scoop of ice cream to our forest conservation projects. And they're inviting customers to match that contribution or add more. And this point of sale integration is really fascinating because it doesn't change the user journey. So a customer goes in, purchases ice cream or selects the ice cream he wants, goes to the point of sale, makes the payment, and at that point is being introduced to the concept of forest conservation. It's really just 1-2 sentences that don't interrupt the user journey, and the consumer can then either say, yeah, I would like to match the 1 penny, or say, would like to do more, which is actually the magic that has happened, which we didn't expect at all. So we were a bit nervous when we started it at the beginning, which I think everybody is when they have a new baby that comes out into the wild. We were excited to see how people react, but we thought about 2 possible scenarios. Scenario number 1, people say, that's great, I'm going to match the penny. Or people say, I don't feel like I want to do that, I'm not going to match the penny. But what actually happened is, something we didn't expect, is people went above and beyond. So a scoop of ice cream at Ben & Jerry's cost £3.20, and there were a number of consumers who just say, oh, just round it up, make it £4. And we got a really sizable contribution that we didn't expect. The largest contribution so far was actually somebody who must have bought lots of ice cream for his office, and he just paid another £30 towards forest conservation. It's something we didn't expect, and it really shows how consumers want to be part of the solution. And so with this retail integration that we have, we are allowing consumers to be part of the process. We're collecting those funds, and we're purchasing carbon credits from Ecosphere Plus.
And then those move into the projects?
Yes.
Okay, fine. So what impact does this funding have, that has been produced by, the pilot at Ben & Jerry's? What impact does it have?
The flow of this investment and investment from any of our clients, it finances a transition to a more sustainable land use and commodity production that also causes a chain reaction of other positive impacts. Obviously, global warming, being able to combat that, but a series of other ones. Our theory of change really goes beyond carbon, and we want to address the local drivers of deforestation, so we stop the impetus to cut down trees in the first place. So the carbon credits provide the capital for this transformation to take place. They're like a transition tool. But at the end, it's the revenues from fair trade coffee, from organic cocoa, and the other products that continue this over time. So people on the ground, instead of relying on, say, illegal log mining or palm oil plantations, whatever the local driver might be for deforestation in that area, these local people have an alternative means of making money, a different livelihood that's sustainable. And that's what really prevents deforestation from happening. And that's a transformation that we hope to work with Poseidon and our other clients on moving from this unsustainable model to one that we can scale quickly with clients like Poseidon that are also scaling and growing together, so we can prevent the causes of deforestation and expand our model of transformation.
Okay. So what's next for Poseidon then?
One word, scaling. So just to echo what Jessica was saying, deforestation is such a stupid thing to do. I mean, I don't know who came up with that idea, but when you cut down trees in a forest, you're not only robbing the Earth's ability to cope with greenhouse gas emissions, but what you're also doing is you're releasing the carbon dioxide that has been captured in the trees back into the atmosphere. Because, of course, typically what happens in deforestation is people cut down trees and they burn them. And in rainforests, you have trees up to 1,000 years. The average age of a tree in a mature rainforest is about 400 years. So you're burning that and you're releasing 400 years of carbon capture back into the atmosphere. It's ridiculous. So we're very excited about what we're doing next with Poseidon, and that's really scaling. As I mentioned earlier, we're live with Ben & Jerry's in London, which is very exciting. And in the 3 weeks we've been live so far, which was really a soft launch, we haven't done any press announcements. There's going to be a press announcement this week. We waited to see first 3 weeks of pilot. We wanted to see how the people react to it. Now we're very confident to go out into the public with it. But over the 3 weeks, without media, without any signboards in the shop, without anyone actually knowing what's happening up until they came to the till, we've already protected about 1,200 trees in an area that's equivalent to about 78 tennis courts. That's with one shop. So the next step for us is scaling. Ben & Jerry's already talking to us about scaling this to the hundreds of shops they have around the world. And you can imagine what impact that has, especially with the right media and with the right education. This really can have a global impact. We're working on a pilot with the government of Malta. We've set up in Malta, which was really interesting. We originally wanted to set up in Switzerland, and the government of Malta talked with us and say, if you set up in Malta, we would like to work with you on a pilot, which we're now doing. So that's very exciting. And we're working on corporate projects. A super exciting one is the reconstruction of the Olympic site in Athens. It's a 1.1 billion euro reconstruction project that's done by a company called Redstone, or spearheaded by Redstone. It's a project called Athens Alive. And I don't think anyone has ever done this before. The entire carbon footprint of this reconstruction project will be offset through the Poseidon platform. And also the Poseidon platform will then be part of everything that will be built on this site. So that's retail, that's hotels, that's the sport events. It's really exciting that the construction of the site and the operations of the site will completely be offset through the Poseidon platform. So what is next for Poseidon? Scaling, scaling, scaling as much as we can, because we can already see the impact we're having. We would like to have more of that impact. We're a non-profit foundation. We're really making sure that all the funds that are channeled into the foundation, we have a token sale in June, all the funds that go in are used for impact. We're not creating profits. We're not lining anyone's pockets. And the revenue that we're creating with the sale of the carbon credits in the retail space is again fully used then to address climate change.
Okay, thanks for that. But one of the other things that we'd like to talk about is the actual technology, the platform that Poseidon is based on. It's a Stellar platform, correct? And
Yes.
And why?
Yeah, so first of all, actually before I say why on Stellar, I'd like to say why blockchain.
Okay.
Because there is a number of, I spoke at the World Economic Forum in Davos earlier this year, and blockchain was the theme. Like everywhere you turned, everything was blockchain. Like ice cream on blockchain. Everything was blockchain. We didn't start with blockchain. We started with identifying the issue of deforestation and climate change. And we said we need to find a solution for this. And then we looked how we can channel funding to these projects. And we found through Ecosphere Plus that carbon credits are a very effective way to supporting projects and local communities. Then we looked at, okay, how can we get funding to these carbon credit projects to then support forest conservation? And we found that the reason it's not really happening at scale at the moment is because the carbon markets are suboptimal, to say it in a nice way. There's a lot of naughtiness happening in this sector. People have double counting. They sell items more than they should. So we said we need blockchain technology because blockchain technology introduces immutability and transparency, which is currently an issue in the market. And then why Stellar? That was a very simple decision. We analyzed all the different blockchain companies, most built currently on Ethereum, but the carbon footprint of Bitcoin and Ethereum is terrible. And we found that Stellar is the best solution for us to build our platform on.
Okay, thank you very much. Anything else you want to add? Not at the moment? Okay, thank you. All right, so just in conclusion, so I think we've heard a little bit about, obviously, what the Poseidon platform does, how it works. It's currently live with a pilot. We've also, from an Ecosphere Plus perspective, understood a little bit more about the quality of the carbon credits that are actually being made available on the platform, and also how they support the projects behind them as well. Now, from a Poseidon perspective, as we said, we are live now in Ben & Jerry's. We are looking for more people to partner with on further pilots, whether they be retail, whether they be governments, organizations, and also we're looking for advocates just to help us talk about what we're doing here. So, we really believe that we have a really strong product here. It's out there, it's working. Probably in terms of our initial pilot, better than we expected in the beginning. And so we hope to scale, we're looking to scale that and working on scaling that even more. And as we already said, that there is a fundraiser that is going to be happening over the month of June. And so we are reaching out to everybody to support us for that fundraiser in June as well. So we are based over there to the left-hand side. So if you want to come and talk to us about anything more, please do let us know. But I'll open the floor now to question and answers. Anyone got a question?
My name is John Holler with Vera. 2 questions. First is, I understand that you're working on a consumer level app or application. I wonder if you could speak to that. And the second part of the question is, if you could please elaborate on how the cost of offsetting is determined on this consumer point of sale level.
Those are very good questions. We have an app that's actually live as well. We haven't rolled it out yet because, as I said, we had a soft launch with Ben & Jerry's, but the app is currently submitted to the Apple App Store and to the Google Play Store, or whatever it's called. And so that will be later this week, we believe, available for download. The app looks like this. And what it basically does is it shows people individual purchases. For every purchase they have done, it shows them which project they have supported, so they can really drill down. That is what blockchain allows us. We can really provide all the background because we have full transparency and traceability. People can look at where their money went. So they can see, I bought a pair of shoes. That's 12 kilograms of carbon. I bought 12 kilograms of carbon credits. They are from this project, Cordilla Azul. Okay, what is the money doing in that project? They can drill down. They can share it over Facebook, Twitter, social media, and then they'll get a summary where they see from all their purchases what was the current impact they have so far. So this is the Square terminal that exists at Ben & Jerry's, for example. People go swipe their card on this. This is fully integrated with our backend and through the Poseidon blockchain integration. That's how the app gets it. And actually at Ben & Jerry's we have a display that shows consumers the impact collectively that they had at the store. So we have interaction, and I think it's very important that we are able to show consumers instant gratification. Because that's one of the things with giving, right? You give money to a cause, you don't know what's going to happen with it. You maybe feel good that you've done something, but you don't know what you've done. Where with our app and with the displays we have at the stores, people really can tangibly see what happened with their funds. Your second question, I would like to pass over to Jess.
That was what Ben & Jerry's was already using. So we integrated with a platform that was already in use at that retailer. If a retailer is using a different platform besides Square, then I'm sure Poseidon could technologically integrate with whatever platform was being used. It's quite easy software. On the second point, on how many offsets, Ben & Jerry's did a full life cycle analysis, and they determined how many grams of carbon were associated with a pint of ice cream. They chose to offset that and then offer customers the option of contributing the same amount. So for them, it costs approximately a penny. We rounded it up to a penny because if you have a fraction of a penny, it gets to be a bit awkward when you're buying ice cream. for 3.867777 cents. So we just went with rounding it up to a penny, and then customers are offered the option to additionally put in a penny. So if you look at it, they're climate positive, not just carbon neutral, if you add up all of the consumers that are putting in the penny each.
Which is really exciting. So just to add to that, so everybody knows that any activity we do, anything we do, any lifestyle choice has a impact on the climate, right? And we're really allowing people not only to participate in climate action, but to turn products and services actually into a climate positive experience, and that is very unique in a way that is fractional, because that's also important. Currently we're trying to move people away from doing a gesture, one voluntary giving, to a behavior. We want behavioral change where giving to climate action is a behavior, and by having these fractions, I mean, as we said, 1 penny for a scoop of ice cream, who wouldn't do that? A pair of shoes, depending on what kind of shoe it is, leather or synthetic, you're talking between 15 and 20 cents. Of course you would pay another 20 cents to remove the climate impact of your shoes.
Maybe we also don't want to limit the platform to those that don't have a life cycle analysis, though. So we're developing a hierarchy where ideally you know exactly what the life cycle analysis is of your product, but if you don't, there's emission factors, there's a number of other resources that are, third-party available that we can draw on to say this would be approximately the impact of buying an ice cream cone, and then it's on you to prove to us that you're lower than this. So something that's quite conservative. So whether you're buying a cup of coffee, ice cream, a pair of shoes, we'd use a very conservative estimate to give them the impetus to calculate the carbon themselves, because obviously that's the direction that we'd like to see the market go into.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Okay, I think that's it. So unfortunately with Ben and Jerry's there's no offer of free ice cream, but we're working on that, so we'll let you know. Okay? But thank you everybody for your time. Appreciate it.